Hi, I'm George, the Weather Dad. Take a look at the end of this week and on into the last weekend of July. Believe it or not, August is almost here, and so temperatures are going to reflect pretty much what you would expect in July. In fact, it is going to be very, very hot across the area. Now, we're going to see temperatures in the 90s, nothing extraordinarily high in the 90s, only because the ground is still somewhat moist. In order to get really hot temperatures, let's say towards 100, you have to have very dry conditions. The ground can't be moist, and we've had a lot of rain over the last several weeks throughout the Midwest. So temperatures are going to be hot, but they're not going to be extremely hot because of the fact that, again, there's so much moisture around. Here we go on your Wednesday. You can see a good portion of half the country well above normal. Normal high temperatures are generally in the mid to upper 80s right here in the Ohio Valley, and that will reflect yellow colors. Well, you don't really see any yellow colors from basically the plains eastward. Yes, up in the northern Rockies, across the northern portion of the states, up there, up in Canada as well. But again, very hot and humid conditions across the area for you Wednesday. Now let's look on into Thursday. It does change just a little bit. Notice how you're starting to see some yellows, some of this darker shades starting to get pushed towards the southeast. That's the next system that's going to be affecting the Midwest. In this point here on Thursday, it's going to be affecting the Great Lakes area. You're going to be seeing some showers, which of course will also give you some of those cooler temperatures. But we're going to have to keep an eye on down in this area. We're going to see hot and humid conditions in the state of Florida, but there's something brewing down there you have to keep an eye on. Here on Friday is where it really starts changing right here for the Midwest, as you see some yellow, again reflecting cloud cover and rain across the Midwest and also the Great Lakes region. And then on Saturday, you see it even more pronounced because I think this is going to be the wettest day here in the Midwest because of the next system that'll be pushing down. And then by Sunday, things warm up again, especially in the plains. Notice the heat really building out in your area. Now, it's been dry for you, so temperatures are going to be getting close to the century mark, so something you have to keep an eye on. And this is going to be on your Sunday, but notice the yellow now starting to shift into the Appalachians and then points towards the east. That's where the precipitation will be heading. As far as precipitation is concerned, here you go on your Wednesday. Not much going on here in the Midwest. This is the next bit of energy. Could looking at some severe weather up in Canada and the northern Great Lakes region. And as that system pushes down, we have to keep an eye on that as well. But I want to draw your attention down on what's going on in the southeast over the state of Florida. Wednesday is going to be a very wet day for you. There's a little bit of a disturbance out here off the Atlantic seaboard southeast, and it's going to swing back towards the west over the state, producing a lot of rain here on your Wednesday. Notice what happens here on Thursday. It gets into the Gulf of Mexico. There could be some development here. Depends on where it shapes up. One model, the GFS, is pushing the center of the low a little bit further in the central Gulf. If that happens, there's a better chance of some development there. I don't think it's anything major that's going to happen, but it's certainly going to be a rain producer. One model has it hugging the coast. If that happens, it's just going to be just a real bad rainmaker, not much in the way of wind. Now again, this is on your Thursday. By Friday, it does push its way towards the west. Looks like Texas, Louisiana coast. A lot of moisture in this area. Here we go up into the Great Lakes region in the Ohio Valley. This is where the system gets kind of cranked up. This is on Friday. So there could be some rain in this area, drying out towards the western two-thirds of the country. By Saturday, this system really gets its act together, a lot more moisture, and I think part of that's because what's going to be streaming up from the Gulf of Mexico from whatever happens down in this area. This is on Saturday, and then as we wind out the last weekend of July, that precipitation pushes its way towards the east, northeast, down towards the southeast as well, drying out in the Midwest and points towards the west. So the bottom line is, it's going to be hot for the next really several days, and then looks like it's going to get wet again just in time for your upcoming weekend. I'm George, the Weather Dad.